Oklahoma 4th, and Texas A&M is 5th. Clemson fell 3 spots down to 6.
The Early Line with Mario and Musso. Mario and Musso have your early line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I mean, we're just here to have fun and win and have fun by winning.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, here's Mario Jerez and Matt Musso.
And welcome in. It is Tuesday's Early Line, September the 7th. Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp along for the ride as well. Mario, plenty to get into today. We have new college football polls. The coaches, the AP, LSU is not ranked in either of them. And quite honestly, that makes a lot of sense. They didn't look much like a top 25 team on Saturday night. And plenty to get to as Coach O has met the media for his, I guess, technically his first weekly press conference of the season. They didn't have one last week because of the displacement due to Hurricane Ida. We're going to get into it all, but first, how are you?
I'm good, Musso. The Tigers are ranked number 7 in the country as of this morning, but I am talking about Sean Hodgson and the soccer team, not the football team.
Football, not football. Football.
That's right, the other kind of football. But as far as the gridiron football goes, the Tigers are unranked, and around these parts, that's always going to cause a lot of outrage, a lot of criticism, and we'll get into more of that today as LSU gets ready for McNeese State this Saturday. Hopefully, it's still a decent crowd in Tiger Stadium, man. I wasn't expecting it to be full, even if they had beaten UCLA, but I, myself, am really excited to get back out to Tiger Stadium. I hope a lot of people share that sentiment.
Yeah, that first game against an FCS school, it's never really packed. Probably normally like 75 to 80,000. We'll see what it looks like come Saturday night at 7 p.m. Rafael Esparza from Doc Sports and My Bookie will join us at 2:30. Head out to Vegas to talk to him. Tyler Moody will be along at 2:45 to close out the show in his normal spot. So as mentioned in the top, LSU falls out of the coaches poll and out of the Associated Press. UCLA is up to number 16 in both of those polls for what it's worth. Moved up 26 spots in the coaches poll. Ed Orgeron did meet the media today for his weekly press conference. Did not have one week one because of Hurricane Ida. Did not have one yesterday because of Labor Day, but did speak today. Plenty to get into out of that. Let's dive in. And first, the one thing Coach O did talk about besides the UCLA game, besides turning the page to McNeese, was a lot of injury updates. We'll start, Casey, if we could, with number 3 from Ed Orgeron today. These are the players who will be out for Saturday's game against the Cowboys.
Out for this game is Sony, John Trey, Austin Deckles, Ali Gay, and Cam Moore.
So obviously the first two you're going to hear that mainly catch your eye. Your 2 starting tackles will not play in this game, and considering the problems you had along the offensive line in week number 1, that is not necessarily maybe concerning because you're playing McNeese, but it's concerning going forward. He also mentioned Ali Gay. That's just a bit of a bummer. I mean, everyone's expecting a big year from Ali Gay, but if he's got a nagging injury, there's no reason to play him in a game like this. Sony and John Trey, they also missed last week. Before we dive into how they replaced these guys, Coach O actually wasn't done. He got asked a little later on about a couple more players. Go to number 13 if we could. Casey, this is the status of John Emery for Saturday.
It's unknown right now. I will not know until the end of the week. Right now he's unavailable. That could change. I will not know that until Friday.
And then if we could, one more on an injury update. This is number 19. Jared Small went down on Saturday night, as did Jay Ward. And this is the update on those two guys.
Jared will be out for the year. No question about that. I'm not sure about Jay Ward yet. We're going to see it then. He's questionable. I would list him doubtful for this week. We'll see. But I'll know more about Friday.
So to recap, Sony Fanua, John Trey Kirkland out, Cam Wire, Austin Deculus out, John Emery doubtful, Jay Ward doubtful, Jared Small out, Ali Gay out.
So with the offensive line, that's unfortunate. Like you said, you're likely without your 2 starting tackles, but I guess the one glimmer of positivity in there is you can get other guys reps. And it's clear, Musso, that LSU is going to have to get really creative with the offensive line this year, getting guys more snaps, moving guys from position to position. So I guess that's somewhat of a positive. The Jared Small thing is really disappointing. He's somebody who's going to have a big opportunity this season, somebody who LSU, I think, could have really used last week, at least in terms of having somebody with experience at the linebacker position. And then with John Emery, it seems to be day to day. It's something that not many people know very much about. But what I do know, Musso, it's very disappointing that LSU's biggest weakness right now is in the ground game, running the ball on offense. And potentially your best running back is not in there. A running back who gives you hopefully some possibilities to open things up, catching the ball out the backfield, doing some other things that we did not see from the running backs in the game against UCLA. And that is just very disappointing. And the last comment I have from Coach O's comments about the injuries and the guys missing time is Jay Ward, rest him up. Do whatever you need to do to get him ready for the start of SEC play, because when he went down in the game on Saturday, there was a palpable difference in the game. UCLA really took advantage of it, and LSU is really going to need to get Jay Ward back as soon as they can.
That's something we didn't really talk about enough yesterday, Mario, I don't think, because yesterday was just such a dump on, I mean, man, what the hell happened type day on the show. But you're right. Jay Ward, you had heard so much about how he just took to that safety spot almost instantaneously. And that was something that we had really wanted to see with our own two eyes. And you saw he really was a difference maker at the back end of the LSU defense. And when he went down, it was different. UCLA targeted that spot a little bit more. So he kind of falls into that same category as Ali Gay here, right? You're going to need him. If he needs to rest up, just rest him up. The offensive line is definitely a bit of a sore spot, but you shouldn't miss those guys too much this week. Look, your backups are extremely talented and on a different talent level than an FCS school. Like I don't want to sound like a, but it's just the fact. I imagine you'll see a lot of Charles Turner. You'll see some Anthony Bradford in there as well, and probably some Garrett Dellinger. You're going to get a good look at these guys. If that was one of the big things of, hey, we need the young guys to finally step up this year. Well, they got some playing time last week because of injuries, and they're going to get even more playing time this week because of injuries. Coach O did also talk about, he was asked, this is number 11, the biggest thing that they need to improve on.
Now, it's fundamentals. It comes down to stance alignment, assignment, simplifying stuff. Make sure, let's see example for offense. We have to protect the quarterback better. Whatever that takes to protect the quarterback, we cannot let our quarterback get hit. And we got to have short, easy throws and put the ball in our playmakers' hands in space and let them make plays. So that, and have a more variety in our run game. So we got to get that going. On defense, we got to be able to stop the run. Whatever that takes, whatever we got, a gap football, whatever it takes to stop the run, we got to do that and eliminate the explosive plays. We had 11 explosive plays, and that's way too many.
That answer is disappointing for a couple of different reasons. I mean, none of it's incorrect. It's just, it's all things that you had heard that they were improving on during camp, that they were improving, limiting the explosive plays. But now you hear Coach O say, we gave up 11 explosive plays on Saturday, and that's too many. They were improving along the offensive line. Remember, we feel confident that if they have a week together, they'll be good to go on Saturday. Well, that clearly wasn't the case. And you should have known that that wasn't going to be the case because of everything you heard leading into the game about the offensive line. They were telling you that they weren't confident in that unit. The players were even telling you that they were struggling. It's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's hard to classify. It's hard to talk about. The coaches just come out of this looking so bad because, as you said, all the comments that you made throughout the offseason were just not there with LSU's play, and the offensive line, again, kind of hard to put into words here, but I hope you're right. I hope that we can take for granted that they'll step up and play better against McNeese State, because I'll remind you, less than 3 years ago, LSU gave up 5 sacks to Southeastern. And LSU won that game handily, shut out on the scoreboard 28-0. But the offensive line early on in that season had some serious problems. And this one has worse problems, Musso. And you have some guys missing. I'm not going to sit here and break down McNeese State's defense. I don't know if they're, good, if they're a blitz-heavy defense, anything like that. But regardless of who the opponent is, regardless of what the fans are saying, every one of them is poo-pooing on this unit right now, and they deserve it. They have to come out. They have to bounce back. They have to play more balanced. They have to blow somebody up off the ball and make life easier for Max Johnson, who had pressure in his face all night on Saturday. Again, you're playing McNeese State. Nobody's going to pat you on the back. Nobody's going to pat you on the back next week if you go on to beat Central Michigan as well. But the offensive line can't think about any of that. They had to come out, set the tone early on, because that was awful. That was tough to watch last week.
I'm glad you brought up Max Johnson, because we did get plenty of talk about Max Johnson from Coach O today as well. He mentioned that they weren't limiting Max running the football. I know that's kind of been something that was talked about, is why weren't there more RPOs called? Why wasn't Max called maybe on more read options or things like that involving him more in the run game? Why didn't he scramble as much? Did they, because of all the well, with the injury to Miles Brennan, you might limit it. Coach said there was no limit on him being able to run a scramble, and sometimes they would have liked him to actually have taken off, so they're working on that, but they're never going to sit there and just run, design quarterback power with him. That's not what they're going to do. He also did talk about, though, what Max can build on. This is number 21, if we could, Casey. What Max can build on going forward after his performance versus UCLA.
Well, yeah, you look at we came out there smoking, man. It looked like offense. We were going, and all of a sudden, we started getting pressure on the quarterback. He missed several balls. As you know, you also saw number 33 was wide open. We missed that ball. Some balls were low. He was really good at times. Times he's got to get better. But again, it's his not first start, but his first time. He's the man. He's the quarterback, and we're going to give him time to get better, but he needs to improve.
Coach O also did say they might have saw a little bit of jitters from Max that they didn't see last year. And that's fair, man. He never looked comfortable. I don't really know if that was so much being down on the road and maybe being in front of a full crowd for the first time, or if it was just so much that he wasn't able to get comfortable because there was a guy in his face every single time he took one step backward.
It's arguably the best defense he's faced in his career, at least starting against, right? I mean, Florida was a top 6 team, but that unit was terrible. They fired everybody, or they fired a couple people on that defensive staff, although they kept Todd Grantham. And I won't even go into Ole Miss's defense from last year, although they seemed pretty improved watching them against Louisville last night. But that was a pretty good UCLA defense that he faced. And there's plenty for Max to clean up. I see why some people are frustrated with him. He definitely left at least 14 points on the field, missing some of these throws. But there's also a lot for him to build on. He's still a 20-year-old making his third ever start in college football. He's going to watch this film. He's going to hit that throw to Trey Palmer next time. He's going to get better at stepping up in the pocket. He's going to improve on things that you improve on just by experience, by reps. And again, lots of bad for Max Johnson, but lots to build on for him as well. And I guess one good thing for LSU going forward, at least in my opinion, is some of these deficiencies I don't think are going to get better. But Max Johnson, through his improved play, can mask some of these deficiencies, and he can get better as the season goes. That's still possible for a very young quarterback. So again, lots to clean up for Max Johnson, but some to be encouraged about as well.
So now the Tigers turn the page to the McNeese State Cowboys. LSU and McNeese State will tee it up, kick it off at 7 p.m. on Saturday night in Death Valley. That game will be on the SEC Network Plus. A little bit about McNeese State. Coach O talked about him. This is number 2, if we could, Casey.
Obviously, they're coached by Frank Wilson, who I believe is one of the greatest assistant coaches that ever came to LSU. He's a great recruiter. I worked with Frank. He's a great coach. I'm glad he's coaching my son. Playing spread offense. My son Cody's the quarterback. Josh Matthews, he and Josh have had a good career so far together. They are good players. Now, defense, Isaiah Chambers, All-American, outstanding rusher. I think he's a transfer from Houston. They play a 4-2-5 and a spread on offense.
You heard him mention Cody there, and everybody knows that's going to be one of the main storylines leading up into the game, that Ed Ogeron will be facing his son Cody, the defensive coach going against the quarterback. Coach O did talk about that matchup today.
I'm looking forward to it. Bobby April is a mentor of mine. He said, man, enjoy this. This is a special moment, and it is. And for me to be the head coach at LSU and for Cody to be the quarterback at McNeese and us to play together, he called me today. He said, hey, Dad, I only get 4 more tickets. Can you help me with tickets?
So, look, we kind of touched on it yesterday, Mario. You're not going to learn an awful lot about LSU these next 2 weeks, but it's good for them to hopefully get out there and be able to work on a few of the things that did plague them. You'll really see how much progress they've made when they head to Starkville in week 4. But again, working on some of those things might be a little difficult when you do have the amount of injuries that LSU will have going into this game versus McNeese.
Just to summarize the 2 main things I want to see as we go to break, offensively and defensively. Offensively, run the ball better, blow people up off the ball on the offensive line, and then defensively, more snaps for Mason Smith. That's something we need to see.
Yeah, Mason Smith, he had a nice debut to really probably the surprise of nobody. The kid's an absolute freak. I'm with you on the running the ball, man, and more diversity in the running game. That a more diverse run game, that has become more of a buzz quote, buzz line, buzzwords in the last 72 hours than continuity and communication were all offseason. So let's see how that goes, not only this weekend versus McNeese State, but throughout the rest of the regular season and into bowl season as well. We'll grab our first break, come back, more early line next. The Saints and the Packers, they're going to kick off the NFL season on Sunday. Just some preliminary thoughts about that game when we return on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Mario and Musso, the early line. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045 ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, middle relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045 ESPN.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials.
Coming up on a Tuesday edition of Early Line, Rafael Esparza of DocSports.com joins the show from Las Vegas, and we look ahead to Week 1 in the NFL, including Saints versus Packers. Join us 2 p.m. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Musso, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You do expect to play this week?
Yeah, I'm playing this week for sure.
Saints linebacker Quan Alexander. You heard the man. He will play this week. Will the former LSU linebacker. More on that in a moment. The Saints opening up the season this Sunday in Jacksonville, Florida against the Green Bay Packers. And this is a gambling show, so let's update the line. This according to BetMGM. The Packers are favored in this one as of now, Musso, -4. The point total in the game is 50 points, so over, under, we don't know. We'll find out on Sunday. And in the money line, the Packers are favored -210. The Saints at plus money, +175. And this is a line that has fluctuated, Musso, for obvious reasons. The Packers have had a very entertaining offseason. That's probably an understatement. And then the Saints have had one too, to a degree. This opened with a line of Packers -1 and a point total of 59. So again, lots of movement here. And to just kind of paint the scene, still a lot of variables we should consider if you're going to be betting on this game or just watching this game. The Saints have been practicing at AT&T Stadium in Dallas for the past week due to Hurricane Ida, and Green Bay enters this game as one of the NFC favorites. Only the Bills, the Bucks, and the Chiefs have better odds in most sports books. Again, there's extenuating circumstances with the Saints here, having to do with injuries, having to do with them being away from home, but right now it's sitting at -4. You and I both seem to think that the Saints will at least keep this competitive, and this should be interesting to watch on Sunday.
I do think they'll keep it competitive. I don't know if they'll win, but I do think the Saints the moves they've made lately have me a little bit more encouraged. I feel good about Jameis Winston being your starting quarterback. I feel very good about the emergence of Marquez Callaway and the absence of Michael Thomas to go along, of course, with Alvin Kamara. I'm interested to see what Tony Jones Jr. can do now that he's made that roster, and Sean Payton really likes him kind of in that number 2 running back role. They still have one of the best offensive lines in football. The problems are on defense, but really only at a couple positions. Defensive tackles one, and outside cornerback is the other. Safety, you still feel pretty good. Linebacker, you feel good. And you brought back Quan Alexander, who, as you heard when we let off the segment, says, I'm playing for sure. Like, he's all in, man. And he thinks he's going to go out there unlimited and, just be a full go. Sean Payton has been a little bit more coy on that. So something I'm very interested there is, will there be some type of a snap count? Or is Sean Payton, as I said, just being a little coy, and you're going to see a lot of Quan Alexander? I do think they keep it close. We'll see if they can actually pull it off. Look, it was a close game last year. I'll tell you one thing, Mario, that does bother the hell out of me is that Aaron Rodgers is once again getting to dodge a home crowd at the Superdome. That is incredibly frustrating because you saw how that impacted the game last year with his ability to manipulate the snap count. Sure, there will be fans in Jacksonville, and it's a home game for the Saints, but it won't be nearly to the scale, obviously. I mean, right, that's and you will see him be able to utilize that snap count and manipulate the snap count once again. So hopefully the Saints are a little bit better prepared for that this time than they were last.
Yeah, and I have no way of knowing this, but just kind of reading between the tea leaves, there's actually an article by the Green Bay Gazette, I believe it is, talking about the big concentration of Green Bay fans in Florida. And obviously the Packers are one of those fan bases that have fans everywhere, but there's probably going to be a pretty decent amount of Packers fans in there, at least like 25% of the stadium, if not closer to 50. But again, we'll find out more about that as we get closer to the game. I got to give you credit for Quan Alexander because you said months ago when we started on middle relief that you did think he would play week 1 just based on how quickly he had been progressing, based on reading between the leaves in his social media, him wearing Saints stuff, him looking really good in these workouts, although some of them are half speed. So it's encouraging to see that he's playing, although you know how I feel about it. I kind of wish they would have waited a little bit longer just to be safe. But hey, he's playing. It's yet to be seen how much he'll play. We know Zach Barn has been playing really good there, but Quan Alexander will be a part of this game. And a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people did not think that would be possible. And as recently as a couple of weeks ago, Musso, a lot of people thought that both Deontay Harris and Marshawn Lattimore would not be playing in this game for the Saints, but there's no suspension. The legal process is still very much ongoing with both of these guys, and it looks like they're going to suit up in the black and gold on Sunday, and that's great news if you're a Saints fan.
That's really, really good news because that just bolsters your wide receiver depth even more for this game when you talk about Deontay Harris, because let's be honest, we still don't even have word if Traquan Smith's going to be able to play, if he's going to suit up and go for the New Orleans Saints. But it's Tuesday, and they have announced nothing on Deontay Harris. Now, of course, there's still time, but right now it doesn't look like it. It's really kind of cooled down on Marshawn Lattimore the last few weeks, Mario. That's been something that, while the suspension still could be coming, it's probably more likely it happens later in the year. So that with their problems at cornerback, that's something that can't be overstated, the importance of being able to have Marshawn Lattimore week one, especially going up against Aaron Rodgers when you do have the uncertainty across the field from him.
What I will say is Marshawn Lattimore needs to step up in this game way more than he did in the meeting against Green Bay last year, where Devontae Adams did not play, but Lazard went off for 146 yards. A lot of that on Marshawn Lattimore, so hopefully he brings it a little bit harder against Devontae Adams, arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. And as you said, Musso, we still don't know about a lot of these guys and their status ahead of the game on Sunday against the Packers for the Saints, but tomorrow we will get our first injury report in the NFL, the week one injury report, and that's good because we have no idea about the status of Adam Troutman, Traquan Smith, who you mentioned, and Peyton Turner, the Saints' first-round draft pick along the defensive line, and we didn't see any of these guys very much in the preseason. We saw a couple of series of Adam Troutman before he went down, but these guys can be huge contributors for the Saints. Adam Troutman's your starting tight end. Peyton Turner is your first-round draft pick, and it's yet to be seen if we'll see any of them on Sunday against Green Bay. So a lot of Saints fans will be waiting with great anticipation for this injury report tomorrow.
Yeah, man, I'm itching to see Peyton Turner, too. I really, really want to see that kid get out there and play. We do know you won't see Nick Vannett. He's been placed on IR. Of course, Will Lutz, IR as well, and Will Clapp, for what it's worth, former LSU Tiger, on IR for the Saints. But none of those guys. So the injury report will be key. Traquan Smith is big for the same reason that Deontay Harris is big. That can just bolster your depth while you're trying to replace Michael Thomas for the first at least 6 games of the season or 5 games of the season. They have the bye week 6. But you need all the help you can get there, and if he's finally ready to go, I don't think he's going to be.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, injury report tomorrow will fill a lot of those holes, and we'll learn a lot. So a lot of people will be waiting anxiously for that first injury report ahead of week one in the NFL. Won't spend too much time on this, but the Saints did sign former Atlanta Falcon Desmond Trufant. 7 years in Atlanta with Detroit last year, was a starter for most of the season on a really bad Detroit defense. This is just another body to me. We'll see how many snaps he earns if he plays, but any cornerback Musso that's available September 7th is probably a player you shouldn't have that high hopes for.
That's probably fair, yeah. But look, it's the third former Atlanta Falcon that the Saints have signed this offseason, Brian Poole, and he, of course, went down to injury. Devontae Freeman, he, of course, got cut. But, look, what is the old saying, Mario? If you can't beat them, join them. And that certainly seems what it is with the former Atlanta Falcons here.
We love to see it. Before we go to break, very quick fantasy football thought of the day. ESPN released its fantasy football wide receiver ranking. This is for PPR leagues, point per reception, and leagues where you get a point for every reception, regardless of player. And Marquez Callaway right now is graded 43rd, and SportsIllustrated.com is also not high on him, writing that Callaway saw his value go into the stratosphere in the preseason, scoring multiple touchdowns, earning a bigger role without Michael Thomas. However, he has a difficult game this week as Callaway will face Jair Alexander and the Packers. This defense allowed 13 scores and the 4th fewest points to opposing wideouts in 2020. The thing is, if the Saints are going to win this game, they're going to need a big game from Marquez Callaway. And for that reason, I'm still kind of on the fence if I'm going to put him in the game. Again, won't spend too much time on this, but if I do start Callaway in one of my leagues, I would have to sit one of either Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, or Gibson, the Washington football team running back. And I'm still very much mulling it over, Musa.
Marquez Callaway.
Marquez Callaway. We've been on the train for a while now. We'll see if the NFL follows suit and if he's higher than 43rd on ESPN's wide receiver PPR rankings as we enter next week. Rafael Esparza will join the show up next. We'll talk some NFL, we'll talk some college football, and a whole lot more. Don't miss that interview coming up next as we go out to Las Vegas here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Musso. 104.5 ESPN. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Ed Ogeron meets with the media to preview the McNeese game and the latest from Saints practice as they get ready for the opener. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
You're getting the early line with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here on the early line, time to head out to the desert, Mario. We'll head out to Las Vegas momentarily as we hook up with Rafael Esparza, DocSports.com, MyBookie.net, on Twitter at VSI.Sports. Plenty to dive into here with Rafael. Love to know how his college football weekend went, man.
Yeah.
Large slate of games, how he did there. Interested to see his take on line movement for the Saints, not just this week. I know we talked about it a little bit in the last segment, how it was opened at -1. It's up to -4, -4.5 if you're looking at MyBookie. And how that maybe, not just this week, but throughout the next 4 weeks, potentially, with the Saints being displaced, how that factors against them in the betting world. And of course, look, man, we have NFL football. The NFL opens Thursday night. Tampa hosts Dallas, and they're better than a touchdown favorite. So want to get the take there. A little bit of maybe some uncertainty around Dak Prescott's availability for that game. We're going to dive into it all, and of course, dive into week 2 of college football. Right now, we head out to the desert and welcome on Rafael Esparza, my bookie, Doc Sports. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing well. We're doing well. First and foremost, well, I mean, we could be doing a little bit better on the LSU football front, but overall as a whole, we're doing okay. I kind of want to start with just your college football weekend as a whole, man. It was a great slate, and I mean, how'd it go?
For the books, it went really well. I mean, some upsets helped us. I'm not going to lie. The LSU game helped us a lot as well because I guess everyone just saw SEC versus Pac-12, and Pac-12 has been the doormat the last couple of years, so that was a good win for us. Clemson offense tanking, so that was another good win. And then last night we took a little bit of a beating, gave some money back with Louisville's offense being stagnant in the first half. But overall, it was a good week 1 or week 0, whatever you want to call this week of college football. But some really good games this week. I'm excited to watch the Iowa State game. It's probably one of my favorite games all season long.
Yeah, let's go to Iowa State right now because the Cyclones, Cy-Hawk Trophy battle. Cyclones a 4.5-point favorite in that game right now. At least that's what y'all have it over at my bookie. Iowa, though, man, they're coming off of a just beatdown of Indiana on Saturday. Any plays you like in that one?
I'm going to wait. I think this number continues to climb. I think the betting public will probably move this up maybe to 5. I mean, this one opened up around 3.5, quickly got jumped up. I'm a little bit shocked at the total moving up because these two teams normally play Big Ten type football, run, punt, run, punt. So total keeps on moving up. I'm going to wait to see how high. If I can get Iowa plus 5 or even higher, I might have to jump on Iowa in this one.
Rafael, let's go back to week 1 for a minute if we could, as I take a question from the YouTube chat here for you. Talking Heisman odds, do you feel that the field emptied out a lot after this week with Stroud, Rattler, Sam Howell, Daniel, and DJ Uyangale all struggling, and the performance that Bryce Young put forth for Alabama?
I just think if you were an ACC player in the Heisman, you just eliminated yourself for what the ACC looked like. And I'm sorry, I say this joke all over times. If it wasn't for Alabama, the SEC would be the Sun Belt. Bryce Young, what he did again, and what Alabama showed, they just reload. He looked dominant. He looked like he was a starting quarterback last year. Alabama is going to be a very, very tough out.
What about Matt Corral in the Heisman race after what he showed last night, and honestly, what you saw out of the Ole Miss defense?
Yeah, I'm giving more credit to the Ole Miss defense and not Matt Corral. I mean, granted, he has wide receivers all over the place, and I love the way they spread the ball. But that defense, give them the Heisman Award right now. I did not think the Ole Miss defense would play like that. And those transfers that they got showed up really well. They're going to be a tough out, Ole Miss. I enjoyed watching their defense. But again, Bryce Young will probably dominate the Heisman if he continues to play like that. I feel bad for Sam Howell. I was highly hoped on him. I really liked his arm strength that I watched, but boy, what a tank job he did.
Rafael Esparza joining us from Las Vegas here on the early line. And one more college football game we want to ask you about as far as week 2 goes before we jump to some NFL talk. Oregon is at Ohio State, and both of these teams kind of struggled in their openers. It's a 14.5 line that favors the Buckeyes right now. What are your thoughts, Rafael?
I want to say take the Ducks, but I'm not sold on how their defense looked against a weaker division team or non-conference team. Ohio State is Ohio State. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against Oregon. I think that's going to be the big difference. I'm not going to touch this game because most places have 14.5. If you can find a 14 still, maybe take a shot at that. But if this moves up, which it probably won't, it's a noon game. I was hoping this would be like a 3:30 or even an evening type game to see what kind of line movement the bettors would take on Saturday. I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. I'm rooting for Oregon just because I'm not the biggest Ohio State fan.
Not many people around here are either, Rafael, so you're in good company there. To the NFL, the New Orleans Saints, they sit plus 4.5 versus the Green Bay Packers this week in what is expected to be, well, not expected to be, but what's labeled as a home game. Of course, it'll be played in Jacksonville. That line has seen significant movement all throughout the offseason. What I really want to know is there any more you can expect there? And also, how does the Saints being displaced for potentially the first 4 weeks of the season impact line movement in their first 4 games?
And let's face it, the Saints have had one of the worst summers with all their transitions and losing free agents. Drew Brees gone. Who's the quarterback? Now throwing a hurricane. Now throwing if they're not going to have 4 home games. I feel bad for the Saints and the Saints fans. I think this is going to be maybe a non-playoff team when the season's over. I think Green Bay has some holes. I think if the Saints can put 7 up early and make Green Bay play a little bit more defense, and I think they can maybe win this game. And if Green Bay loses, what's going to happen to them? I mean, all the off-season headaches that they had to deal with. I think Green Bay wins. I kind of like the Saints to backdoor cover this. I think Green Bay only wins by a field goal.
Interesting. Raphael thinks Green Bay wins, but the Saints cover this Sunday in the season opener. I do have one futures NFL question for you, Raphael. There's a lot of interest around these parts about the Cincinnati Bengals for obvious reasons. Joe Burrow plays there. Jamar Chase plays there. We're not even getting into the auxiliary LSU guys, but their win total right now is at over under 6.5. Cincinnati opens the NFL season this Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. Do you see the over or the under for the Bengals 6.5 wins this year?
It's all going to depend on that offensive line. If Joe Burrow's not running for his life or his knees again, the betting public jumped on the under -140, and I'm going to have to agree with them. I think they have 6 wins this year. I just don't see 7 wins. I like the under just because I'm not sold again on that offensive line. I know they made some improvements, but I don't think enough improvements for Joe Burrow to be running around. I think the Bengals will be writing up the basement in that division, but maybe they're improving. But I just can't see 7 wins. Maybe next year they'll turn things around.
A couple more here for Rafael Esparza, who's joining us from Las Vegas. Rafael, the NFL, they open the season Thursday night, the annual time where the Super Bowl champion opens the season. Tampa Bay will host the Dallas Cowboys. The line over at MyBookie, y'all have it at 8, and the total at 52. Better than a touchdown favorite are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They going to cover that?
In Tom, we trust. I mean, it's just like in Alabama, we trust. I can't. I'm tired of betting against Tom Brady. He's given me the double bird. Seems like for 50 years playing in the league. Either don't touch this game or play Tampa Bay. Because why would you bet against Tom Brady? I just don't understand why people are going to take the plus points. Because all Tom Brady does is put Super Bowl rings on toes because he ran out of fingers. I'm going to sit back and watch this one. I think the total is a little bit too high. I think we're going to see defense. I kind of like the under. Wait to see if the betting public bets it up to 52.5 or 53. I like the under. Before we let you go, Raphael, are there any other NFL plays that you have your eye on as we enter week one? There's a couple ones I think it's going to be very interesting. I think we can see some kind of movement if you kind of wait. I kind of like the Rams to cover against the Bears. The 7.5. I say hurry up and get that. It's the late Sunday games. The betting public is going to bet the favorite on that one just because they'll be chasing all their losses all weekend long. Grab the 7.5 now. I think the Rams win by double digits. I would not be shocked. And I think I'm going to pull up the upset. I know you guys listeners probably won't listen, but give me the Falcons -3 against the Eagles. Really, the Eagles? I'll take the Falcons over the stinky Eagles. Oh, I do have one more for you before we let you go. Came in from the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Everyone real curious now about LSU's win total. It was around 8.5 at most places to start the season. If you had to give an updated win total for LSU after Saturday, what would that be? After how disappointing that defense looked like, maybe 3. No, I'm just joking. I would say probably an 8, maybe 7.5. Because if that defense continues to play like they did against UCLA, they're going to be in trouble with teams that have high-power offenses in the SEC. Because if you let UCLA be able to do that, what are some high-powered offenses going to do when you have to play, let's say, Ole Miss, Alabama? It could be a very, very long season for the Bayou Tigers defense. And I'm not even going to talk about their offense. Rafael Esparza, DocSports.com, MyBookie.net, on Twitter at VSI.Sports. Y'all give him a follow. He's always releasing some great odds for you and always great information here on Early Line with us every Tuesday. Rafael, we appreciate it, man, and we'll talk to you next week. Take it easy, guys. Have a fantastic week and stay safe out there. Thank you. Thank you. You do the same. We'll grab a break, come back, close it out. Tyler Moody joins the show next. Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota.
On Wednesdays, Off the Bench, we turn the page, start to look forward to little LSU McNeese and the big one in Jacksonville, the Saints versus the Packers. And we have a brand new Would You Rather Wednesday. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
You're getting the early line with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time to wrap up a Tuesday show with some Major League Baseball picks. And for that, we welcome on Tyler Moody, our residential baseball expert, as we do every day. Tyler, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. Getting ready to check out of my hotel here in just a few minutes and head back to the booth.
We're going to ask you about your night last night. I know gambling-wise, it was a good one. We went 2-1. The Rockies' money line against San Francisco unfortunately did not hit, but the Twins' money line did hit at -124, and sure enough, Ryan McMahon homered, which you called, Tyler. Props.
First pitch he sees of the game, he goes Oppo Taco. I just had a really good feeling he was going to have a good game yesterday. He's hit Goldsman pretty well. He hammers right-handed pitching for the most part, and I think he's the most home run worthy bat in that lineup on any given day. So I just felt that a little bit last night. I mentioned to you, I felt like the over might be in play, and sure enough, they ended up putting up 15 runs. So it was an exciting game to watch. As far as the runs were concerned, not as far as being competitive though.
Good value on McMahon too. Plus 390, plus 400 are the two things you gave out. I mean, that's a nice ticket to cash.
No doubt.
How was the experience at Coors Field?
Oh, that's the third or fourth time I've been there, and then we went to Red Rocks directly after, and I went and saw one of my favorite artists named Grizz. Went and saw him at Red Rocks. So I had a banner day for me personally, and I think things are pretty good for me right now, guys. And hopefully we can keep the wins coming here as well.
Glad to hear, my friend. Tyler Moody is our guest here on Early Line. Before we get to our picks for tonight, Tyler, I do want to ask you about one prop bet, and that's the White Sox over 9.5 runs against the Athletics tonight. And we know all about Chicago's offense, one of the most dangerous in baseball. Jose Abreu, Jimenez, everything that they have. And they face James Kaprielian on the other side, who has allowed 22 earned runs over his past 29.2 innings of work. And on the other side, the White Sox have recalled Jimmy Lambert to possibly start. He has an ERA of over 9 tonight. Should be an interesting matchup. But in terms of White Sox over 9.5 runs against the Athletics, what are your thoughts?
So I hope that Kaprielian is good tonight. He's on my fantasy team. I actually have Oakland on the money line tonight. I'm on the other side of this. And here's the deal. I've watched a lot of his innings this season. He was really good early on. I know he's got the ability to work through this lineup. But as you just mentioned, he has been bad lately. So tonight is kind of a risk versus reward moment for me, fantasy-wise and betting-wise. I just think I'm such a believer in Oakland. I don't know what it is, man. I love this lineup, parts of the lineup, and I think the Kaprielian really has been good. He's still got a 3.8 ERA overall, so he could easily come out and shove tonight. I'm on the other side of it. I've got Oakland on the money line in this game.
What other picks do you have for us tonight, Tom?
Yeah, let's go to right now. I'm picking things that I know, the things I've been following the most this season, and I've been watching the Cincinnati Reds a ton. For right now, it is go with what you know time. Wade Miley is on the hill. The Reds are one game back of San Diego for that wild card spot. Every single game matters. You have to take care of business against the Cubs. So I'm going to double up on this Reds game. I've got Reds over 5.5 runs against Sampson, and I'm also going Reds minus 1.5 with Wade Miley on the mound. The thing about Sampson is he's only thrown like 10 innings this year. His last outing was very good. 3 innings against the Pirates, though, so he hasn't seen an offense like this hardly at all this season. I looked through some of his games. He's pitched against low, the bottom feeder teams. I'm curious to see if he can step up today against the Reds, but I think the Reds will be ready for him. I've got the Reds minus 1.5 and the Reds hitting over 5.5.
So he likes Reds over 5.5 runs. Tyler also likes the Reds minus 1.5 at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. Reds over 5.5 runs against the Cubs, and the Oakland money line against the Chicago White Sox. We had a winning night last night, Tyler. Let's keep it going tonight. Happy travels on the way home, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Be well. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Tyler Moody giving us some more baseball picks. I feel like we've had some good luck with the prop bets and the home runs on this show, haven't we, Musso?
Yeah, we have. We have just prop bets really in general, but specifically the specific player to go yard. Maybe we need to reinvest into a prop bet segment.
Yeah, I would be about that. Who was a guy on the Red Sox that hit his first home run?
That was Schwarber. You had that one. That was you that called that one that night. Yeah, he tied the game with it, and then they promptly lost. But it was fun.
But the Red Sox have gotten a little bit of momentum going since then, or not really?
They blew a 6-run lead yesterday and lost in extra innings.
Well, they're still.
I wanted to strangle Carl Ravitch because I had it on when we were downstairs prepping for the show yesterday, and they were up 7-1 in the second inning, and he kept calling it a blowout, and I'm just like, Ravi, chill out. There is 7 more innings to play in this game. Calm down.
Best of luck to Musso's Red Sox throughout the rest of the season. Sounds like they will need it. That will wrap up a Tuesday edition of Early Line. Mario Jerez alongside Matt Musso. Stay tuned for AFR coming up next with Matt Moscona here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.